I would only assume like with stories like that happening all the time, you'll think enough women would know. Just say yes and walk away. But I don't know. I'm
No,
not a woman.
that's fucked
I
up
would.
too.
Oh, okay.
Metaphysics is going to have to be the quote unquote religion of tomorrow. If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally and absolutely.
Yeah. All right, all right, all right. We are here. We are live. It is the Cult of Dangerous Gentlemen, the greatest think tank ever assembled. Back at you with another exciting tour de force of an episode here that we got coming. And I guess we just gonna have to hop right into it because this story, I think this just happened. If I'm not mistaken, this just happened maybe earlier today or, not very long ago, maybe yesterday. But the video hit the internet. Apparently, there was a woman who was attacked on the street for refusing to give a man her phone number. And this shit, I mean, as horrible as it is, I think we can all admit that it's horrible. Nobody is justifying some psychotic criminal of a dude attacking a woman on the street for not giving their phone number. But I think the thing that I wanted to dive into personally, at least here, was a lot of people's reactions to it. A lot of people have a lot of entitlements about, all the other men should have been protecting her and everything else like that. But
Why does everybody put their responsibility on other people?
I have no clue. I really, really don't know. But especially her, she's in the moment. I'm sure she's upset. But this is what's being carried on the internet from a lot of people. So it's not just her. So you know what? Let me throw this video up here. And hopefully there's no actual violence in here, so it should be covered. Fair use. YouTube in there goofery.
Bumble clock.
I know, man. It's fucking terrible. All right, so let's
And it
get
hit me
into
in my
this.
fucking.
All right, yeah, this is a little loud actually. I don't want to turn that down a little bit. But this is right after the fact. You see a lot of fellas, a lot of dudes standing around, and this is what she's going through here.
And it hit me in my fucking face because I would have given my number. And all y'all just fucking watch. Y'all see that shit? Y'all see that shit? What do y'all gonna do? I want y'all to be a man. I want y'all to be a man and fucking do something. Y'all gonna let a man hit me in my face. I never did anything in my life to hurt anybody. Literally, a man asked me for my number. I said no, and he picked up a brick in front of so many men and was like, "What you gonna do?" And I told all these men, like, "Yo, why this man got a brick on my face?" And he's holding a brick, and all these niggas is watching, and nobody does nothing. And he hits me in my face, and then they all just watch, and they let that nigga get in the car.
Okay, so like I said, I don't think there may be some deeply disturbed and traumatized people out here, men who look at this and say, well, that's what you get. They might have all kinds of excuses and shit like that. I don't think any of us are those people. I don't think that's what we feel. So just from seeing the aftermath of the situation, do you think any of the men who were there to witness that had any obligation to do anything to protect this stranger that they don't know? And I know I might have loaded that by calling her a stranger and shit like that, but do you think those people had any real world obligation to step in and do anything in that situation?
I don't know, man. Like, it's a weird situation because you don't know. Did they know that man that did that? Or was he just some random dude that picked up a brick, hit a woman, and just drove off? Or is he like some feared person in the street? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to assess there. You can't just assume. Like,
I would be more upset with her if she had like a boyfriend with her, and he didn't do anything.
right,
You see what I'm saying?
right.
Like, I wouldn't say I would be upset, but I would just be like, you kind of got to do something at least, because she just got hit with a brick. But I don't know, man. Like, it's a weird situation. Like, I think that, to me personally, I think a lot of women have this thing in their head where men always have to stand up for every fucking thing, and I don't believe that should be a thing. Like, we shouldn't always be standing up for everything because you don't know what's going on with everything.
Right. That seems to be what a lot of people are talking about on these social media, on TikTok, on Twitter. They're saying And even in the moment, they said, "What do you want us to do?" And she said, "I want y'all to be men," as in just being a male automatically leaves you with some type of responsibility to protect a woman who you don't know, you've never seen her before, you don't know the details of the city, you don't know what's going on, but just because you're a man, you're supposed to have had stepped in and done something and done some hero shit, or they're supposed to attack the guy and hold him down till the cops get there. Like, that all sounds cool. Like, I'm not opposed to it, but that's not
That's
just
a
your.
responsibility for a husband. That's not a responsibility
See, this is.
for the unknown. That's just me personally. Because I've been in a situation where, like, okay, a female, like, she was basically like getting dragged by her hair, like just being dragged, and I said something, and then to make a long story short, she's calling me crazy. And
Right.
that's when I was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Never again. Never again. But it's just they don't it's not about. That's why I named this episode "Protection Without Possession," because we've talked about this before. And I think in a perfect world, you don't have to know the people. They don't have to be close to you or related to you for you to step in. But that's in a perfect world. That's in a society where these things have already been established. This is high conceptual human existence. This is not just some baseline fact about reality that you protect people that you don't know. That's how you risk your life. You're risking your life. So say somebody stepped in, right? Say some guy jumped out there on some hero shit, tries to stop the guy. What if the guy pulls out a strap and shoots homie, right? Does that woman or her family have any obligation to take care of that guy's house now that he's dead?
She
Are they
should.
going to take care of his children? Are they going to make sure his wife got some kind of pension or something like is now does that become your responsibility to take care of whatever he left behind in that situation? No. She's just going to walk off. She's going to be like, "Yeah, that guy was cool. Thanks for helping me." And then you're just dead, and then what? It doesn't make any sense.
Simulation over.
Right, simulation over. It doesn't make any sense. But just to give a little bit more, a little wider context to what's happening in this situation, of course, this is how the internet works. Some other internet footage has been revealed of the same woman before the bricking incident, right? So I got another little clip here I want to show you. And just tell me what you think about this. Just check this out. This was pretty short.
I hope every black woman is kissing another black woman because we are the innate protectors and the providers. We protect societies, we protect communities with our intellectual property, with our lived experiences, with our breast milk, with our bodies. We're the ones. And the two. Bitch, not even the three. Because men are not providers and protectors, not innately, because they only protect what they possess. But we protect everybody, and we provide, baby, okay? So I hope you catch a girl tonight, because I hope I do. Ew.
Well, she knew what was gonna happen. Then. She saw the future.
Prophecy, right?
Yeah.
She said men are not the innate protectors and providers because they only protect what they possess. This is the realization that she previously had about men. This is the energy that she was carrying out into the world. So is it not some kind of like self-fulfilling prophecy that she unwarranted, unjustly gets physically attacked by a man, but she's surrounded by men who she has already stated are not innate protectors and providers. So what does she expect them to do? She said that women were the protectors and providers. They protect the world with their breast milk. So what? I don't understand what the discrepancy is. What am I missing here? I got another one. This is the last one. I don't want to be.
She's a prophet of her own demise.
She really is. And I named this episode "Protection Without Possession" before I even saw that video of her saying that men are not innate providers and protectors. I was just like, oh well, shit. You already know.
I'm starting to see why this went viral because I don't watch all this stuff, but because I've heard this before where like woman gets hit because man, what I'm saying, low self-esteem dude. But now I see why it went viral. She was talking mad shit.
Right. Right.
She was talking bad shit in the past.
So this is the last one. This is only 7 seconds long, but this video says, "Here's your brick mommy," and I just reposted it mostly so I could find it for the show, but I also said that brick might have been a boomerang. But check her out.
You ever fuck with Brianna Taylor ever again?
When she slapped him,
Yeah, and then started twerking.
I'm starting to think the guy with the brick knew who she was.
Bro, so
I'm starting to think the guy with the brick knew exactly who this woman was.
I know this bitch. She said she protect communities with her breast milk.
That's the bitch that slapped the nigga for no reason.
This is how you moving in the world. If this
She
is
just
how
said
you
she
moving,
did nothing wrong to nobody.
I never did nothing to nobody to deserve this. But, you know, you smack a guy in the face and you walk off like a diva and start twerking your ass in the camera. So you live in a world where you can slap the glasses off a man's face and then go twerk in a see-through shirt. But you also think that same world, in that same world, strange men who don't know you are going to come protect you from violence and risk their own lives for you. For what? For no reason. You're clearly not under any authority of a man. You're not under any guidance of a man. So why should you be under the protection of men? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Like I said, any man who would put himself out there and jump in front of that violence to protect any woman just because she was born with a vagina, you're a wild boy. You see a vagina in distress and you jump out there, that's some above and beyond heroic shit. I ain't gonna say you a sucker or you a simp. That's just some above and beyond shit. But you don't get to hold other people to that standard. No, that's why these are like, you know, firemen, cops, people who go to the military. Like they have a different ideology. They got probably a different set of genes. Like these are people who want to put themselves in harm's way, and that's why they get those jobs. They go.
I don't mean to cut you off. I can't speak for like the firemen and policemen, but there's like this law called the Good Samaritan law, and it's more for like nurses and doctors. Like they can't just like if something's happening to you, you can't just go and jump and go help them. You can't even like say that you're a doctor, because like of like if you mess up or you did something wrong, you could that could come back and bite you in the butt. So like isn't that like the same principle in a way?
Yeah, definitely. And plus, I think it's just the fact that you don't know all the details. You know, that's her side of the story, that the guy asked her for a number and just hit her. You don't know what was said. And even though there's no words that I think a woman could say to you that allows for you to hit her in the head with a brick. I don't care what she said. If you said, "Hey, can I have your number?" and she said, "Fuck off, goofy," you don't get to hit her in the head with a brick, bro.
Or she had probably raped you at 12 or for that kind of a treatment.
Bro,
it just doesn't make any sense to just want to pick up a brick for like rejection.
Yeah, that's not cool. And then of course Tariq Nasheed's take is that all of those men were non-FBA tethers, and that's why they didn't do anything. That's why they didn't do anything.
If Tariq was out there, he wouldn't have done nothing.
Oh my god,
he wouldn't have done.
He would have done the damn thing. I think Umar would have done something more than I see him doing anything. That's my opinion on that. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, Tariq is claiming that.
Chad said I got the Good Samaritan law wrong.
I don't know. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I think the Good Samaritan law is the opposite of what you said.
Because I know you're not supposed to just jump in there.
It says
you're obligated to take action if someone's in distress and you have the capacity to help. I think you have to help based on the Good Samaritan. You can get in trouble for not helping.
Because I was told like you're not supposed to say.
Okay. The Good Samaritan law is protection from claims of negligence for those who provide care without expectation of payment. So I think the Good Samaritan law, like if you try to, somebody pass out on the street and you give them mouth to mouth with chest compressions, they can't sue you if you break their ribs, because you were trying to bring them back to life. So you were trying to do something good. So you can't be held liable for any civil damages as a result of such care or treatment. So it kind of see, even that tells you that people are assholes, and even if you help with them, they're gonna try to fuck you over.
Right.
So we need a law
Yeah.
to protect you from.
There's people who don't want to be resuscitated, and if they didn't do the proper paperwork and like you resuscitate them, they'll be pissed at you. They'll be super pissed. Like I didn't want to I wanted to die. I wanted to die. But yeah.
Can I just say that I love everything about this story? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Can I
it
just
is.
say I love
Biblically, it's a
everything about
biblical
it?
story. It's a biblical story. You couldn't get any better than that.
Look, man. So there's a couple of people we need to blame. First person I'm blaming is Beyonce. You told all these bitches that they don't need men, that they're just as good as men. You helped be the tip of the spear for this new fuck men feminism shit. And you've convinced women, along with a lot of these movies like Atomic Blonde and who's the Scarlett Johansson Black Widow.
Yeah.
You could get down with the boys. Anything they could do, you could do better. Just slap that motherfucking twerk. He ain't shit. What's he gonna do, bitch? You punked him because you're so physically imposing and terrifying.
Gotta blame
and that's
Boozy
why no one's gonna
Webby
do
too.
shit to you.
You gotta blame
Who?
Boozy and Webby too.
Boozy and Webby for singing
blame-
I don't know
independent.
nothing about that.
Yes.
INDE. Yeah, all
blame
that.
them. Listen to the lyrics and everything. It destroyed. It was 2000 era. Destroyed all the young youth.
Well,
I'm
we
telling
know
you.
we
Because
know
how
women.
many?
Go ahead.
So how many years ago was it where? Because I know Muslims still do it. You can't leave without a wali, right? You got to have a man that's committed to your. You can't leave the house. So the problem is we want the chivalry without the responsibility. Everybody wants to cherry pick what works best for them. So there is a culture, right, where if you're a woman, you're not leaving the house without a man. A man's gonna protect you because they know that the dangers are out there. You don't just let women drive. You don't let them go to the grocery store by themselves. In the Old West, was there a lot of women frontiersmen that said, fuck a man, I don't need a man. I'm going to till this land. I'm going to shoot the bandits. I don't give a fuck.
Indians got
Everybody
her in
was. Indians took it to the vineyard in less than 12 hours. What was it, Oregon Trail? That bitch died of dysentery really quick. She was out of here. So we know that there was a time in reality where the world is dangerous. The land is dangerous. There's bugs that can kill you. There's panthers. There's jaguars. There's coyotes. There's a lot of dangerous shit. And if you get around all the shit from nature trying to kill you, there's other people that want to take you to the vineyard, that want to murder you. And so you can't just walk around as a woman unprotected by a man. You need a man's protection. So she was hearkening back to that world. Well, wait a minute. Why aren't the men stepping up to protect me? This dude just hit me in the face with a brick. Where's all the chivalrous men to step up and protect me from the dangers of the world? Bitch, welcome to America. In America, you've gone to Babylon of Babylon. The whole point of being in a city like that is nobody's supposed to know anybody. But when people are robbing the CVS, nobody gives a fuck. Like we've embraced the condition of not giving a fuck as the default setting. Like that's what you're supposed to do when you're in the city. Don't make eye contact. You just fucking march in front of you. You stop when the cars go, and then you keep walking. Masses of people. If you've been to a big city, you know there's millions of people on the street walking around at any given time with barely anybody making eye contact or interacting with anybody.
Right.
It's a place where you go to disappear and for there to be strangers. So all of these men to you, madam, are strangers. And just like they're not paying attention to the people looting the CVS, they're not paying attention to the dude hitting you in the face with a brick. They feel no obligation. Like you're conflating a city with a community. A city is not a community.
Right.
A city is we're all detached. There's no human connection, but we're tapped into the grid and we're the cog. We're playing our little role within the machine, but really we're not really connected to any. There's no sense of I owe you anything. I'm gonna look out for you. It would be nice if we lived in that world, but we don't live in that world. So I don't know what she was expecting to, and I think Doobie's uh touched on my first question, which in terms of getting involved, is how big was this dude? Because I'll be honest,
Like,
if he was big, like he was a problem, like if he wasn't a problem, if I know I could have fucked him up, I might have intervened. Like I could take this dude.
pretty
But
sure
if he
like
was- if
9 out
that-
of 10 of those men were thinking that like this is a big nigga right here.
Right? Like if he's a problem,
A bleep, a
I'm
big
like,
bleep.
all right, if it's my wife or my mother, all right, I gotta get fucked up because I have to defend these women. But if it's just a stranger, and I went through the same thing too. There was some chick getting tuned up out in front of a Bennigan's years ago, and I walked up to the door like, yo, what? To the door of the car, like, yo, what's the problem here? And this is a young, idealistic, when Bennigan's was still in business, because you just think instinctively like, yo, I don't know this bitch, but she's screaming. I think this dude is tagging her up in there like punching her or whatever. And of course, the girl is like, yeah, we're working it out. Please go away. So it's like, all right then, because you will, in those situations, like you never get involved with anything domestic. If you see a chick getting her hair pulled, she knows that man. That's not a stranger. Whatever they got going on, they got to work it out. And 9 times out of 10, he's pulled her hair about 78 times previously, and she's gone back every time. And your intervention, while well-intentioned, is probably not going to be welcomed.
Yeah.
So, on every level, the dude's probably was big. He was a problem. And who wants to get for a stranger in a place where everybody's estranged from one another? Why would you want to bring that drama into your life? Like, welcome to America, lady. When you go to a big city, everybody is conditioned to mind their own fucking business. Nobody's gonna get involved.
We live
If
in a
you
world
think
where-
that there's a man that should be protecting you, look, convert to Islam. Don't leave the house without a wali. That's what you need.
That's what I
That's
said.
what you need. Yeah.
No, that's what I said. I said this world that you want to exist in doesn't exist anymore. Right? It disintegrated when women decided on freedom and autonomy over privilege and protection. You cannot have it both ways. And I know women are famous for wanting that quantum cake. They want to have the cake and eat it too. But this weird utopian dualistic, it doesn't work. It's not going to happen. You can't be protected and privileged but also be equal. It doesn't work like that. The world where men will protect you if you need protection, even though they don't know you, you haven't invested anything in them, they don't know about your character, they don't know nothing. All they know is it's a woman.
Never really existed.
No, it definitely existed. There was a time when men were deeply trained in this ideology that you had to save a woman, the chivalry and all of that.
When was this time?
Even though chivalry has nothing to do with men looking out for women, it's a code of conduct between knights and combatants and shit like that. It was back before women were completely and totally free and autonomous. That's when the guy would slap you across the face for cursing in front of a woman. If you used the wrong language while women were present, another dude would get up and go across your mouth and be like, yo, be respectful, there are women present. And then those two guys would have to work that out however it goes. Somebody might get shot at the end of that exchange. But that was the world that they lived in. But then you had shit like happen when like men had to go to war. And the men who didn't go to war, whether they were injured or for whatever reason, there were some men who didn't go to war, and the women who saw them walking around the street while all the other men had gone to war, they would put a white feather in the guy's pocket, and the white feather symbolized cowardice. They would just basically walk up to you and be like, yo, why aren't you at war? And put a white feather in his jacket.
That's not the stories I heard.
Not for real.
Those women were banging those kids.
Nah, they's like, this guy's a sucker. He's not out there dying for us. He's a piece of shit, right? And once those entitlements kick in, you say you want to vote now, you want a bank account, you want to own property, you want to make money. Okay, so what's the difference then? What am I protecting? Especially blindly. And then they try to bring the possession into it like, oh, well, if it was your mom, of course, if it was my... First of all, I feel bad regardless.
Yeah, but you're not my mom.
You're not my mom. I feel horrible.
Not my mom. Not my sister.
But that's not where the line is drawn.
She got hit with a brick.
That's not where the line is drawn.
Right. Well, unequivocally, nobody is going to bat for this dude because
Nobody.
this is what's going to get conflated because we're critical of her. That's going to be the next thing. Oh, so you think dudes should just hit bitches in the head with bricks if
No.
they say no to that? No. If you do anything physical to a woman that's not self-defense because you're potentially going to get killed or maimed, you're a piece of shit. And to do it over the pettiness of rejection, like you're an extra thick layer piece of shit. Like nobody is defending this dude. But the reality about the world that we keep hearing that women want, like this is that world. Because again, even tiny dudes, which it's in the compendium, they're basically women. Nobody comes to their aid. A tiny dude, unless you know that dude and you vouch for him and you're committed to that dude's protection. If you just see some dude getting punched in the face, you're not gonna have anything to do with it.
Nope.
Not especially in a big city. Nobody is getting involved. If anything, the neighborhood psychopath might. Not because they care, but it's just an opportunity to be violent.
No,
Like,
that's Fleece Johnson. If a small man gets attacked and somebody jumps in to stop it, he's gonna want to come to terms. You're gonna have to settle up after this is over. He's gonna be like, "Look, I like you,
Right,
and
I
I
saved
want
your
you.
life.
I saved your life.
Right, I protect.
There was the rules. There was the rules.
I
I
protect you
traded.
from a woman with a brick.
Yeah, I traded a Twinkie for you, bro. You're gonna have to fix it. That's just the way it goes.
I'm gonna give you back your Twinkie, sir.
And seriously, no? You gotta give me 3 Twinkies now. That's how that works.
No problem.
What's the difference between a small man and a woman? Really, like really fundamentally, what's the difference between a small petite man and a
Tory
woman?
Lanez is a perfect example. He had to shoot at the woman. So.
Yeah, she's like 6'4", ain't
You
she?
didn't want to give her a head up.
He
Finish.
did.
Ain't she like 6'4", bro? If
But
a
you know
5
what?
foot, that don't make no sense, bro.
Listen, but if Tory Lanez would have just took his ass whipping, his career would be over, but he'd be free.
That's true.
He'd have been mocked and ridiculed, but if he just would have shot the fair one with Megan Thee Stallion and got his tiny ass beat, he
That's
would
true.
still be free.
That's true. That's
So
kind of
something
not
to
fair.
consider.
Think about even if it was the same configuration, right? A 6'4" man is outside of the car of a 5'3" woman, and she starts popping shots off at him and hits him in the feet a few times. In court, she could cry and be like, "I thought he was gonna penetrate me against my will," and they'd be like, "Yo, that's a big ass dude. You're a tiny woman." She probably would have got away with it,
Yeah.
but because Tory Lanez is a man. For some reason, the man is still a hulking danger, and this big-ass, tall-ass stallion of a woman is still the petite damsel in distress. It doesn't make any sense. We live in a gynocentric society. Sometimes, we actually live in a paradox machine. So whatever evidence you look for, you'll find it. You can find just as much evidence for patriarchy as you can for gynocentrism, and that's the way the world works. When you look, you're going to find all of it. And you just kind of lean towards, you accept whatever you lean towards anyway. But it's all out there. I just think some of this shit is kind of ridiculous. And in the world she wants to live in, where men have to protect strange women just because they seem to be in distress, in that world, you don't get to go out and drink till 2 o'clock in the morning wearing a see-through shirt and yoga pants. That option is not available to you because men want to minimize how they're going to be called into duty. I don't want to have to come out here with you till 3 in the morning while you get drunk and twerk to Beyonce just to protect you on the way home from some other men who else. What are these guys doing outside at 2 o'clock in the morning? They up to no good. What the fuck are you
She
even
don't
doing
know
around
Nan.
here? She don't know Nan. No Negroes after 9. That's just a rule. That's just a rule. If you see a pack of bleeps after 9 o'clock and it's dark, you made a wrong turn somewhere.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
fucked
sir.
up, B.
You don't know Nan.
Nah, you fucked. You might get a ceremonial knife poke to the ass. Like that's just how this stuff works. You might get poked a few times, just like correctively. Stay out of here. You ain't supposed to be out here this time of night. But yeah, you don't get to go out and do whatever you want to do. You don't get that freedom. You stay in the house, and like you said, you only go out with people who can protect you. And since the onus is on him to protect you, he's going to dictate when you can go out and how long you can be there and what you're going to be able to do while you're out. Because it's up to him.
Because a real man wouldn't even let you go out because he knows it's always going to be a problem at some point. Going out late, drinking, scantily dressed, Like a real man's like, listen, to lengthen our life of chances of living long old, we're not doing this.
She's gonna leave you for being a punk.
Fuck out of here.
This was divine correction. This
Yeah.
was an intervention from the Most High. Bitches are absolutely haughty and arrogant, and they're on this shit where they don't have to be women. They can do anything a man can do. And nowadays they're walking around with that energy, like I'll fuck you up type energy, and they're completely unprepared. Not just physically, but mentally. They're not rooted in the reality of violence at any moment. And she got her wake up call. Like your safety bubble that you thought was there, it's not really there.
Yeah.
And if we went back to like caveman days, and there's just roving bands of vineyardists and just pillaging and taking what they wanted, right? The fact that you could walk around half naked, fearless, just let you know like you're completely taken for granted, that you have an artificial safety net.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's not real. It's an illusion. And if you move it away for just a moment, like she got her reality check. It was a divine reality check. Bitch, a dude can bust you in the head with a brick. So just before you slapping motherfuckers and twerking because it's hilarious, and be conscious of the fact that you're out here trying to have a good time, but anything can happen at any time and nobody's gonna help you. And that's the reality of your femininity. Your pussy can be taken, your face can be hit with a brick. And the more that these areas continue to fall apart, like, because everything is collapsing around us. That's just my perception. I don't know. If Twitter and YouTube videos are a barometer of what the reality is out in the world, now I'm not seeing it in my immediate area, but hey, I don't know. I get the impression by being on the internet that everything is falling apart, and if that's what's happening, you gotta rethink your strategy. You gotta rethink your strategy of mini skirts at 3 a.m. and going around and
that is some arrogant shit. To just let me walk around with a bra and a thong at 3 o'clock.
Dude, the oldest holy books are all about grape. They're all about grape yards, the vineyard. Well, I think, what was it? I like all the Indian gods were vineyardists, all of them, right? And then Greeks, I think Zeus turned into a goose to get some vineyard action.
Oh yeah,
like,
he turned into a goose,
stories.
golden raindrop. He found all kinds of intricate ways to enter women without consent. Zeus was the king of that shit, bro.
He was gonna figure it out. He's like, listen.
Listen.
I mean, so if that's our ancient religious thought, it starts with grabbing chicks and having our way with them. Like, this is obviously some deep-seated, harsh reality that's woven into the fabric of who we are. It is kind of odd that you got to the conclusion that everyone is obligated to protect you. I don't know. That just goes against everything about the reality of our culture. And again, I'll lay this all at Beyonce's feet and everybody else that promotes this idea that men are useless, women are the shit, girls run the world, and all that. Okay, have at it, bitch. You can't even dodge a brick. A dude would have bobbed and weaved. A dude would have saw it coming. Oh shit, he picked up a brick. You and all of your non-combat training you were clueless, because as big as the side of your head was, that tells me you didn't even try to dodge.
You didn't duck or nothing. You just took that whole thing flush to the side of the head. It didn't graze you. It did no. She just stood there like, I know somebody gonna help me.
Right.
I got all this ass and these tight pants. Somebody gonna help. No, sorry, man.
Nope. And you got no survival instincts, and now you got a huge lumpy face because you weren't prepared for what's out there.
Yeah, she'll be.
She's alive.
I don't know, but
she's alive. She learned a lesson. Fuck that guy
that hit her with the brick.
100%.
Yeah, fuck him.
100%.
And fuck her for slapping dudes and twerking.
Yeah.
Right. This was a divine wake up call. Be polite to people. Be conscious of your surroundings. And bitch, maybe there ain't nothing out here for you at 3 a.m.
Right.
Because clearly, what are you out there to do?
Get
To
hit
look
in
for
the head with
dudes?
a
Clearly,
brick.
the dudes out there ain't shit.
To
Right.
get hit. That's all you was out there for.
Like all the dudes you were potentially gonna hook up, none of them would even intervene.
Right.
But I am curious about the size of the dude because I guarantee you it had to be a bigger dude.
Bro,
Because
it had to be
I think
Debo. It's Debo's out there. All these niggas were like, listen, that's Debo.
if it was Tory Lanez, if Tory Lanez picked up the brick and was about to hit her in the face, we would have swarmed him and pummeled him and made sure he had no weapons on him and held him down until police came. But if he was like a Freddie Fox looking dude, you have to work it
That's
out.
gotta be a skit. That's gotta be a skit. Like,
yeah, they show both versions of it, like
both versions,
like one of those social experiments. A little tiny man does it, and then a big dude does it. That's terrible, but it's true.
Maybe they'll teach the world, like, listen, this is what's really going on.
I'm also gonna say this. I said it already, but I'm gonna double down on it. It's 85% chance. If a man stopped that situation from happening, if he intervened, right, they hold him down till the police come, you give your report, they take the guy away in the cop car, the dude who helped you is going to be like, so what you about to get into? He definitely going to try to get him a slice. He not just going to help you for the sake of helping you.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
he's outside at 2 o'clock
goal
in the morning, standing on the side of a closed convenience store. This is not an upstanding citizen. I'm sorry. He's going to try to get some. And if you refuse, he might hit you in the head with the
brick. You might have a lump on the other side.
Right.
Look like a fucking
bitch, that's why this nigga hit you with the brick.
Exactly. I should have let him hit your ass. Matter of fact, give me that brick. No, Dave Chappelle had a joke. So to loosely quote this genius, because I don't want to play it on the stream. We know how YouTube gets. But he said, imagine like if somebody, you're getting paid for a show, and he said it was like one of his early times he got paid a lot of money for a show, so he had like 50 grand or something like that, whatever it was. Imagine 50 grand, right? You got to transport it. It's all cash. You did a legal deal. You got 50 grand in cash, and so you got a backpack. You put it in your backpack, and then you got to get back home or to the bank. So you got to leave that location. You got to like catch a train or a bus. You got to move around the city to get that money to a safe location. Like, do you know the even if nobody knows what's in the backpack, it's very likely that you are going to be extremely nervous. You're going to have a lot of anxiety. You might be sweating and shit. You're going to be watching everybody head on a swivel and shit like that, just because you know the value of what you have in this backpack. Now, imagine women walking around with vaginas. But they don't have, do they have that same fear and anxiety at all times? Like, somebody might want to take this from me. It should be heightened 1,000% at 2 o'clock in the morning leaving a club. Now, that's not a world you should have to live in, but that is the reality of what's going on out here. Because a man with too much jewelry on, he can get yoked up, he can get shanked, he can get shot and robbed in the parking deck on his way home or something like that. Somebody scoped him, he got caught lacking, as they call it these days. It can happen to anybody. But women have something already of value installed in them. She don't got to have no jewelry on. He don't have to assume there's no money in her purse. He might just want her, period. But, Beyonce. You got to be out in them streets.
I mean, just imagine, though, too, like, if you're in the village with 100 or 200 people, everybody knows each other.
Right.
Like, everybody makes fun of, we've kind of been conditioned and trained to think, like, oh, small towns, you're an ignorant rube, it's stupid, it's... everybody knows each other, and yeah, that's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's harder to commit crimes against people that you grew up with and your families know each other. Like, we always prefer to do horrific things to strangers, right? And so it's the mouse utopia shit. Human beings were never meant to live in this close of proximity to this many other human beings that they're completely estranged from. They have no idea who they are. This is just unnatural. It's unnatural. And if you lived in a community of people that knew you, you would feel that safety. And the people around you would feel that obligation to protect you because they know you, But if you're in a world where there's millions of people in a small mile radius area, and nobody knows each other, like it breeds these sorts of events. Like the worst of humanity comes out because nobody's really accountable to anybody.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
that's a fact.
you got a village, you got an elder, everybody knows each other, right? You're accountable to everybody. If you fuck somebody over like that, you're out on your own. You're outcasted from the tribe. They say that's why we have this natural fear of public speaking, because if you were in a position where you had to explain yourself to the tribe, you already fucked up. Like you're about to be excommunicated, and you know you can't make it on your own. So there's just more of a we've taken away everybody's obligations to each other. Like a woman has no obligation to a man for protection. A man has no obligation to his community or to society. Like there's no obligations that anybody has. Everybody is kind of just in their own little financial bubble. Like I have a way to get what I need. I don't give a fuck about any. Like we're not interconnected in a way that demands that we be loyal to each other. Like I don't know,
Right.
man.
You're right.
It's
It's
a
no
ugly
community.
reality to come terms to.
It's
Yeah.
no community. There's not a village. You know, we live near each other, but we don't know each other. We look out our blinds and gossip about the neighbors. We talk shit about them. We call the homeowners association when their grass gets a quarter of an inch too high. Like this is what people thrive on now. It's closeness, but it's separated. We're extremely deeply separated from each other. In a village, if somebody died protecting somebody else, it's likely that they would make sure his wife always had food. Even though he's not part of the hunt no more, he died protecting
Right.
somebody, but we're going to make sure you and your kids eat because we're going to keep his legacy alive. They'll tell stories about him and sing songs around the campfire and shit like that. If you fuck around and die protecting some woman and then next week she back out at the club twerking at 2 o'clock in the morning, people are going to laugh at you on Instagram. They're going to laugh at you on Facebook. And probably rightfully so, because what did you really do? What did you sacrifice yourself for? There's already something missing in this society. So if you jump out and put yourself in harm's way over somebody who's not even going to appreciate the sacrifice that you made, that was a bad decision. Let's not pretend
Yeah.
it's some legacy shit or yeah, you go. That shit don't exist, man. There's nothing in our reality. There's not enough evidence in our reality that you're gonna something good is gonna happen because you sacrifice for yourself for somebody. It's not. You save somebody for drowning, and they're like, okay, well, thanks, fuck you, and I'm out of here. You know, you return a ring to somebody who lost it. A billionaire's wife lost her ring, and you get it back to her, and it's fucking worth $150 million. They're gonna give you $100 and be like, all right, thanks, buddy, get out of here. It's not. It won't necessarily equal to you really having to come up, and not that it should. But what's the incentive?
Yeah.
What's the incentive? None of this. There's no installations for those type of protections. So this is why cult life matters. This is why cult life is the way. Because if you establish that and we understand that, we all made an agreement to live by the same ideologies and principles and shit. Now we have an investment with each other. I have a reason to make sure your wife is okay without expecting nothing in return from her. I gotta make sure she all right. My man ain't here. I gotta make sure his wife is okay. Or he make sure I seen his kid. I gotta make sure the kids are okay. But just in the world, that shit don't make no sense, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have an obligation to my own family, my own wife, my own children, and those are the people I gotta look out for. Those are the people that I need to take care of. My wife will probably, I mean, and rightfully so. You go out here and get yourself killed over a bitch that's slapping people and twerking in the street, and then now your wife and kids are left without you because of some goofy bird who's going to go get drunk again next week.
Dude.
What did you do?
That's one sad story.
Dude.
That's a sad ass story, bro.
Your kids hearing that shit. Oh,
Yeah.
like, fucking dad, you
Yeah.
fucked up.
Got
man.
himself killed for a
Fucked up.
bitch that was twerking in a see-through shirt. What the fuck? Nah, bro, I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm not down with it.
And that's the reality. Like that has to go into the calculus. That's the reality. If you intervene, you're potentially putting your life at stake. And let's say you got something on you to protect yourself. At the very least, now you got to face the charges of I just popped this dude in self-defense.
Right.
And in a lot of these cities, you can't even protect yourself.
Yeah, New
So,
York, bro.
and
That's
if
not even
this
considered self-defense.
right, and if this dude's wilding and he's a fucking criminal, he is gonna have something on him. He's gonna have his tool set with him, and he's
Yeah.
gonna fuck you up. And again, same thing, right? And the people that depend on you for your livelihood and protection, they're robbed because you tried to do the good thing. So I don't know where you get that from. No, you know what? No, what you said is the key to it. We all have agreed to live under this banner of ideology, and we've chosen to obligate ourselves one to another. That's the only context in which it makes sense. But
Right.
anything else, like in this system where we're all estranged from each other, any kind of intervention for good, first of all, it may be bestowed on somebody who has absolutely doesn't share your values, who's possibly living in such a way that directly fucks you over in some, you know what I mean? Like you could, I just saved the life of the bitch who's foreclosing on my house. Like fuck, what's the
It's
irony?
just for her to still
Right?
foreclose on it. She didn't have a change of
Right.
heart.
She's like, hey, look, Chase Bank said I gotta take your shit. There's nothing
Yeah.
I could do.
Yeah.
But I gotta keep my job. I'm just following orders.
Yep.
So yeah, if there's no set rules and values of why we're obligated to each other, and that just kind of shows you too, like how the system has replaced community and culture. Like the system gives us this false reality of being insulated and protected. Well, I got 600,000 in my bank account. I got look, man. There's a monetary system in place, a military system that protects it, and now I have a certain value. 600,000 ain't shit. I got 600 million in my bank account in these with these made up numbers that were just logged into a computer. I got that, so I don't need nothing from nobody. If I have any problems, I can solve them all because of what I have. So I'm good. So if everybody's pursuing that sort of security mechanism, right? You don't need neighbors. Like the way humans survived even like 200 years ago is completely different from the way that we're socialized and taught how to survive now. And so all of these conveniences have come at the expense of human connection. But there's something in us, like there's something in her that appealed to that, like that made her say, wait a minute, shouldn't it be like this?
Mm.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
so that kind of lets you know that it is real. It is real because there's a human impulse there to call upon it, right? But you're not willing, or you're not really concerned with living in such a way where those values matter day in and day out. It was really, you don't give a fuck about them and you're content to live estranged from anybody else. It just so happened in this instance when you actually needed a community behind you, now you're upset that it's not there. But really, any other given time, I'm sure she was like, ah, who gives a fuck? Like, bitch, you just slapped the village elder in his face and twerked in front of him. Like, you don't have a regard for anybody, right? But now when you need it, now you're like, oh, wait a minute, why don't we have a community? Why aren't we looking out for each other? Because that's not the way we live.
Right.
That's not the value systems of all of us that are meeting on these terms. Hey, stranger on the subway. Hey, stranger at the fucking club. Hey, stranger on the road. I mean, there's never more of a time where humans are more pieces of shit to each other than behind the wheel of a car.
Right.
Like we're going 80 miles per hour and we could kill each other, but you're gonna do some selfish, ignorant shit because you're just in a rush to get somewhere, and you're gonna call everybody all types of foul shit. Road rage incidents, people shooting each other. Like people are, man, just
Yeah. Just stop it.
just send the comment.
It's
Send
send
the
the
comment.
comment, bro. Do the comment
What's the
dance.
point?
We don't do rain dances no
Just
more. We're doing comment dances now. We calling it in. So Dan Houston said, communal expectations of individuals are healthy. Yes, in a community. Not just in a place where we just happen to all be jammed in together, living in the same locale. That's not necessarily a community. Like, how many people could you legitimately go to? Maybe your neighborhood's different. Like, it could be different. But I'm just saying, the average person living in the city, how many people's doors do you think you could knock on if you needed help? Most people would look out and be like, I don't know, that's that motherfucker from over there. Don't even answer the door. or people feel offended that you came to their house without an invite. This is not a community. If you really needed help, there's probably not very many people you could go to when you live in a city. People will avoid you like the fucking plague. There's homeless people laying on the ground starving to death right now, and motherfuckers are walking past them with food and drink in their hand like, hey, that's not my problem. That's not a community. We just happen to live in the same area. Yeah, 400 of us live in this tall ass building, but it's not a community. Somebody gets shot in the hallway, we gonna leave the door closed, turn the lights out. I don't know what the fuck is going on out there. That's just the way the shit is. So I mean, it sucks. That's not ideal. But we can't, when something goes wrong or something finally touches somebody, we can't then create, this post hoc utopia and just act like, oh, where's all the support? Everybody should come together. Like, oh, now everybody should come together. We've been ignoring each other this whole time. Why we got to come together now? It doesn't make any sense. We're not cultivating community in these places. We're just not. We're not doing it. We're ignoring the fuck out of each other. And that's best case scenario. We're ignoring the fuck out of each other. Worst case scenario, you're deliberately making your neighbors' lives miserable just because you can. Just because you derive some joy out of it. Oh, this motherfucker played his music too late last week, so I'm going to play my music this week. Oh, he's washing his car in the driveway. You're not supposed to do that. I'm calling the homeowners association. Like, this is what people do. This is what people do.
I'm gonna bully this dude.
Yeah, fuck him.
Bully this dude till he shoots me in the face.
Yep, he had a fucking Biden sign in his front yard. So fuck this guy, bro. I saw that thing maybe a couple years ago. Some neighbor was shoveling snow. Did you see? You probably, I don't know, but some guy was shoveling snow,
murdering each other.
Yeah, he's shoveling snow, and he's shoveling the snow on the other side of the street, and the guy tells him, he's like, yo, don't shovel your snow over here, which is kind of petty, but, hey, it's property, all that shit, don't show, and they're like, well, fuck you, you're a punk, and all this shit, and they told him, shut the fuck up, you're a pussy, I'll kick your ass, all of that. Yeah, okay.
That's what happened with that old lady that killed the black lady.
Talking shit.
She was crazy, though. She was actually crazy.
Well, this dude went in the house and got a fucking AK or whatever you call it, but he went in the house and got a fucking rifle, came back outside, shot the dude and his wife 4 or 5 times each with the rifle, and they were outside laying there fucking bleeding. And you see, of course, all of this.
Shoveling snow?
Yeah. It was the last straw. It was the last straw. This wasn't their first argument. They probably been fucking with each other for years. Shot them both, and then they were outside dying, and then some went back in the house and got like the pistol and came out and finished them both off on camera.
Because the reality is we could get to know each other.
Yeah,
we could cultivate and build community, but our obligations to survival in the system doesn't really lend itself to doing that.
Right.
Like we're too busy, and what do you have that meets your needs? You got money. Right? You get money from the system. The money allows you to get access to what you want. There's not really much need to lean on your neighbors. Like if you're in a situation where you have to be useful to the people around you because maybe you're bartering something, right? Like there's more of a need for interdependence, to look out for each other, And, I guess some people would tell you that we had that in this country, like maybe back in the 50s. Like right around the same time where you'd get slapped for cursing in front of a woman, right? But we definitely don't have that now. And it hasn't been in many of our lifetimes to where we should be shocked by it. But I think that's probably a better approach. Like we lost something in becoming this efficient, to where we can have all of these conveniences and all of these people living in one spot, but we're completely estranged from one another. And I just think that's a recipe for just the worst of human behavior. That's what humans are missing, and that's part of why we all hate each other and why a lot of us are just miserable. And that, like, I don't know anybody that would, like, I don't know any sane people that live in a city. I just don't. Everybody I know that has like some kind of sanity is either trying to get the fuck out of there or is already made moves to go live somewhere else. Like I don't know. I don't know how you could operate in that in that environment and feel any kind of peace of mind. I don't know how, and maybe people just get used to it, but I feel like your body's natural chemistry would always be on high alert. Like, you know what I mean? Like
It's no
there's
different
something
from the
your
jungle.
body knows.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's a jungle. It's like being in the jungle. You feel it. It gives you all kinds of. It's like post-traumatic stress, and you don't know it when you living in it. You don't know it until you leave. And once you leave, you may not even realize how deep in that stress response you were until you go back and visit or something like that. I felt it when I figured out. I noticed that people have uploaded YouTube videos of just driving around cities. And I was like, oh, I wonder if they got my old hood in there. We found videos of people driving around Newark, New Jersey. I was like sitting on the edge of my couch sweating and shit, just watching the videos. Like I didn't, and nothing was happening. I just was like, holy shit. It just reminded me of the tension that you just get used to it. You walk around in this shit and you know what's going on. You know what the possibilities are, but you just get used to it. But sitting on my couch now, all of these years removed, watching those videos, it brings you right back. And I got a stress response from my body just watching the drive through. Shit's crazy. It's ridiculous. And you have to have it, because if you don't have it, it's like you might as well just strap a light to yourself and be a beacon for criminals, for predators, because you're a victim. You're about to be a victim. It's like go walk through the streets of Manhattan with a big smile on your face, looking around at all the buildings and the signs and shit. The people who are aligned to take advantage of that, they see that as a weakness. They're like, oh, this motherfucker never been here before. This is a tourist. He got a big ass smile on his face and he's looking around and then taking in the sights, enjoying himself. Let's get him. That's what that is. Right. You're signaling
That's not
to
how
the predators.
Get down around here.
Yeah, it's like releasing a white rabbit into the jungle. Oh yeah, happy. Oh, this motherfucker happy. Yeah, let's get him.
Happiness is contrary to the simulation.
Yeah,
it's contrary to it. Happiness makes you stand out.
It does.
There's a inflammatory response. There's like the city will just devour you. Yeah. Like happiness doesn't belong here. You're out of place. You're a foreign object. We need to remove you.
It's an open act of rebellion. To be happy openly is an act of rebellion in a system that profits so much from self-doubt and insecurity and stress and anxiety. It profits from that. So if you walking around just grinning and shit, people going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with this jackass? What are you grinning about? In some places, they might just think you're weird. And in other places, it's a beacon. You got a sign around your neck that says "Eat me," and that's what's gonna happen. Yeah. That's very likely what's gonna happen. They're gonna fucking devour you, bro. And it sucks, but that's the reality. So even if you are happy, you can't show it outside. You got to go get what you got to get. Take your pictures. Get your Chinese food. Go back to your hotel room and look out the window and be happy. But don't be walking around the street at ground level with a big ass smile on your face.
Ground level in New York, man.
Nah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Nah, it's going to get you in some serious trouble. Trust me. But this is the world. This is the world. It's not a utopia. I think there's improvements that could be made, and I think trying to make those improvements to the greater society may be just an exercise in futility. I think you owe it to yourself to try to do it in a smaller. Try to do it in your own house first.
Definitely.
When the whole COVID shit happened, you know how many people I saw, even if it is a joke, how many people I saw posting on Facebook, it's like complaining because they have to be home all day with their wife. And it's like, this is not what I signed up for. Like you married, right? Yeah, but both of you spend
That's
8
not
hours.
how it works.
You spend 8 hours at work all day. You barely see each other. You get home, you watch your movies, and you go to bed. Maybe get a little slice of trim before you go to sleep. And that's the life that you've gotten used to. You don't really interact. Now you home all day, and it's like, I don't know if I actually like you. That shit was crazy to me. I couldn't believe it. And I wasn't one of those assholes that was getting online like, well, I'm enjoying my life with my wife. wife. I don't know what you. I didn't do that because I'm not a jerk. But I was thinking it in my head, like, what the fuck is this even how you? Is this even the sense of humor that you have? You know, like going on social media saying that your wife is driving you crazy now that you're home with her all day. Like I didn't get it. I'm like, okay, I guess
it just goes back to what you guys are saying about how like we're expecting like this community thing, but the city is like really fucking us up. You're not gonna get that because it's like, can you imagine like you marry somebody, but like because like you both work, you both don't really spend that much time with each other. You come home, you're both too tired, and then because now like we say you both get fired and you have to live with each other. Now you're really like, I don't know if I like this bitch.
but that's the whole thing is this whole thing is geared towards vanity and selfishness. Like it's all about you. So your wife is your accessory. This is the bitch that I fuck, and I really, it's just like not having an intentional community, right? It's like she is here for me. Like I'm making my bread. I'm detached from everybody that I live around. I'm even detached from the people that I live here, but they serve a purpose for me. It's all about me. It's 100% about me. It doesn't matter if any of this is based on values. And if you're with somebody and there's not a connection and an understanding based upon values, then it's something like based upon selfishness and need. Like well, I want to have kids, but I really don't care if I know this person or I'm connected with this person. Well, I want to, I don't know. I don't know why any man would want to be married if you weren't. I don't know.
It's just what you're supposed to do.
Want to be? I guess, but I just can't. Like, if you're not really connected to the person, nobody's even promoting people to get married now. Like, I don't even know why you would put yourself in that position to get married if you weren't really connected with the person. Because when you were describing that, I thought the same thing. Me and my wife have both worked from home for years. All we do is see each other all the time. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine if we couldn't stand each other, like to have to share space like that.
Right.
Like the whole reason we got married is because we want to be nowhere but in each other's space. Like I couldn't understand the basis for a marriage outside of that. It wouldn't make sense.
The concept of connection is feminine. So talking about connecting, that's
gay.
feminine.
Yeah.
It's super gay that you actually want a relationship with your wife. That's pretty gay, bro.
I'm sorry. If there's anywhere to come out, I guess it's on the show.
Yeah, so, yeah. That's kind of what it is.
Fig.
That's kind of what it is. But yeah, it's bad. It's bad all the way around. I think protection without possession is a high concept. It's something that we can work towards. But like I said, you gotta work that out in your household first. In your household with accountability and compassion and shit like that. And then later on, maybe you can spread it out to your next door neighbor or something like that. Or you just build yourself, get yourself a piece of land and do what we're talking about doing. You get yourself a piece of land, you can invite the people who you think fit nicely in that intentional community. Y'all can create your own set of rules. You write your own compendium, and then you follow that. But to just look at the world and complain about it and people should have helped, and like based on what? They don't have a compendium. They don't have rules that they've agreed on. They don't have ideology that they've agreed on. So nobody knows how to move in that situation. You can call those men cowards. You can say whatever you want. That doesn't make it true. It's not true. They're not firemen. They're not Marines. They're not cops. They're just random dudes standing around. And under any other circumstances, if you just took a picture of those guys and be like, what do you think about these guys? Most of those people who were saying that they should have helped her would be like, these guys are all pieces of shit. They're just standing outside doing nothing at 2 o'clock in the morning. They're garbage. Okay, so they just saw a woman get hit in the head with a brick. They should have helped. They should have came to her aid. But they're pieces of garbage, though. Standing outside at 2 o'clock in the morning doing nothing. Why would you expect that from them? It doesn't make any sense. It's quantum cake. Again, you want it both ways. You can't have it both ways. That's just not how this shit works. You're either protected and privileged or you're free and autonomous. So you got to really choose what you want. If you want to be protected and privileged, you got to find a person who is going to put you under their guidance, under their protection, and it's probably going to come with some rules and some discipline. And if you can't take that, then you better get a concealed carry permit or learn how to box, learn some Krav Maga or some shit like that. Because you can't. Clearly, I think she understands now. You can't just expect random strangers to come to your aid. It's not smart for them to do that, and it's really not intelligent for you to be moving out in the world thinking that that's just going to happen. That's just not the way it works. Dudes are dangerous, bro. Weak men are dangerous. This is what I've been saying for a long time. Matter of fact, I found another little clip here, and this is on the worst website on the planet allegedly, and it's called worldstar.com. It's a very extremely terrible website, but every now and then I just want to show this a little real quick. This is a guy, I think they said it was in, let me see here. It says this is in Sweden. This is in Sweden. This is known to be one of the happiest places in the world. Also, one of the places that's being invaded. I don't want to say by who, but it's just, the demographics of Sweden are changing very quickly. Let's just put it that way. And if you know, you know. But check this out, bro. This is a guy in Sweden having an altercation with his ex-girlfriend.
En stege. En stege. Okej.
Vad gör du, Mohammed?
Ska vi bara gå in?
Vad gör du? Tror du kommer upp här? Tror du kommer upp här?
Vad ska du slå med mig?
Nej, wallah.
Nej, vad ska du göra då?
Jag vill prata med dig, Maria.
Vad vill du? Du har redan stått och pratat med mig länge nog. Jag säger...
Well, first of all, if a guy brings a ladder to your house to climb up to the balcony, that's already a problem. Like if he knows he can't go knock on your door and get let in, so he brings a ladder, it's already too far gone. You might as well just pour some hot water on. I mean, there's nothing good gonna come from a guy trying to enter your house with a ladder. Nothing.
I don't know, ladies, is this romantic?
Du kommer inte...
Yeah, this is from Cyrano de Bergerac.
His name is Muhammad too. Be careful.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was about to say. His name's Muhammad. So, and he's in Sweden, using a ladder to climb into a woman's apartment. So, you just do all the equations you need to do.
Upp här. Du kommer inte in i mitt hem. Du kommer inte in i mitt hem, Mohammed. Du kommer inte in i mitt hem. Därför han högg mig med en kniv, Maria. Han högg mig med en kniv.
All right, so strike two. The man that you have in your apartment to protect you from the man who's climbing into your apartment with a ladder, he took one slap upside the head and he turned around and ran and closed the glass door. You failed. This is the wrong man to have in your friend zone. He ain't ready for this. He's out of his depth.
Kniv. Han högg mig med en kniv, en stor köttkniv.
Look, son got.
Såg ni det?
Look.
Du, han krossar glaset med en sten.
Look, and he runs. He turned around and runs.
Mohammed.
Trying to talk some sense into him. But what I will say is the dude doesn't want pure carnage. He don't want pure carnage because he's still trying to get to the woman. The other guy is still standing there trying to talk sense into him. He's not going after the guy. He's trying to talk sense into him. Hey, bro, what are you doing?
I would have pushed Muhammad off the ladder.
Yeah, dude, as soon as the ladder got planted there, it's a wrap.
Muhammad would have fell
nothing
straight
for us to talk
down.
about.
I saw the knife on the side of his pants, like in between all that.
No, that's what I was thinking too. As soon as he started reaching down, I'm like,
Come
yo,
on.
you going for a gun? What are you
You're
doing?
getting pushed
Nah,
the fuck down.
Yeah.
And that brick
Ain't
he
no way you
found
getting up to the
would have
balcony,
been
dude.
dropped on his fucking head, bro.
Yeah, there was a lot of bad decisions made. In that video.
No, like, come on, man. You let him get that close? Fuck
There's
out of here.
A lot of bad decisions. lot of bad
Police would've
decisions.
came, I don't know. This man came to the ladder. Brick fell. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a Muslim down on the
I
ground with his head
don't know.
split open.
I
I don't know what
don't
to
know.
say. I don't know. Me and her both. We have no comment. I don't know, but this guy's down there.
Me and Hilda were watching cow singing videos, and this man on the ladder just, I don't know.
I know. He slipped. Yeah, we just listened to some beautiful cow calling music, This guy started. I heard somebody say Allahu Akbar, and then there was a crash. I don't know. You got to ask him. Well, his head split open, sir, and he's bleeding profusely.
Hey,
Well, hey, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Don't know. You see that
Dude,
video? of the
you
lady
know
with
I
the brick?
don't revel in violence. I don't celebrate violence, but that was just some unforgivable pussiness. How did you get smacked in the face by a dude
On a ladder.
on a ladder?
Who needs both
If
hands
you
to
don't
climb the
have
ladder?
good fitting, right?
Man.
Like you don't have really good stability and footing on a fucking ladder. Like you couldn't have put your hip in it. Like he smacked you and you turned away like a bitch, and then he jumped on the balcony. Dude, that's 8 in the center mass. That's just bomb. You gotta go. What are we even doing? There's no. People are stupid. Fuck Sweden. Sweden is a shithole country. You might have been nice. I like that you got some ancient cow herding techniques. It's beautiful music. But aside from that, what have you done? This was just dumb. And you think all of these dudes, at the very least, just humans are shitty.
Yeah.
Man, I come from a war-torn country. They're chopping off our hands if we steal shit. It's pretty harsh and barbaric. It's tough. And I've been drinking goat's milk for years, and there really ain't shit. It's a fucking desert. It's a shithole country. Oh shit, I'm here. It's really nice. Let me bring some ladders and break some windows to rape bitches.
Yeah.
What? There's no like, I'm so glad to be here. Let me try to assimilate and be decent.
No. That's racist. That's white
I hate everybody
supremacy.
involved in that. I hate the pussy ass shit that the Swedish are doing, and just kind of making excuses for allowing all of this bad behavior and continuing to import people that aren't trying to assimilate in the culture. And I hate the fucking dudes that aren't assimilating and just being ungrateful assholes, but clearly got more testosterone than the men there. They're just like you should be like Swedish men should just be ashamed. That
They
should
should.
just be a collective L for everybody.
They
When you
should.
see that a dude literally is breaking, it's actually a metaphor for what's happening in the whole country. This dude on a ladder breaking in to take your women. He slapped you and you're crying and running away in fear. That's what's happening to your country.
That's where you are right now as a country. There's a guy coming into a woman's house with a ladder. He slaps you on the head while still on the ladder, and you couldn't find you couldn't find a way to injure this guy. You couldn't find a way to get just nothing. You know what? I'm just gonna run. And as he's trying to break into her room with the knife in his hand, I'm just like, yo, Muhammad, bro, chill, bro. Yo, Muhammad, relax,
Like, can we
buddy.
talk this out?
I know you just slapped me in the head and bust the window to get in here, but Muhammad, bro, come on, bro. Come on. And like you said, and for Muhammad, this is the place you bring that to. This is the place you bring that energy to. This is the woman whose balcony you climbed in with a ladder and a knife. And you wonder why people feel the way they feel about the non-assimilating visitors to their country. I'd be pissed too. But yeah, Swedish men should be ashamed. They need to eat more meat or something. They need to become more toxic. They definitely not toxic enough in their masculinity. Y'all got to do better.
Yo,
bro.
if you're reasoning with a dude, you're still using your words after you've been slapped from a ladder, the balcony glass door has been broken into, and he's actively pursuing breaking into the door where the woman is being kept. If you're still using your words at that point, yes, you should be ashamed of yourself. That's silly. There's nothing after the slap. After the slap, there ain't much to talk about. After the brick through the window, there's nothing to do but kill you. And I hate
Bruh,
violence.
The
I
minute
don't
he
promote
picked up
violence.
the brick, I'm like, bitch, get 2 knives.
Dude, you're
gonna
done.
go down.
Nah, go
You're
put a pot
dead.
of boiling water on. This guy's outside with a ladder. Go boil some water. we gonna teach this motherfucker. Like that, you couldn't think of nothing? I've seen so many Acme cartoons with Wile E. Coyote and shit. Like, do you know how much shit you could do on a guy who's at the top of the ladder? You know how many ways you
He's
can stop
about
him?
to get in and take her to the vineyard. I don't think she's gonna care if you bust a couple of her fucking vases. Throw vases down at the motherfucker. What are you doing?
There was a
Break
brick
some
right
shit
on the
over his
balcony.
head.
There was a brick on the balcony. You let him have it instead of you
Wait a
using it.
minute. That is another. George Soros is dumping bricks on balconies now of Swedish women. I know that they had pallets of bricks at the riots, but that is some weird shit. You just got a brick right out back in front of your glass sliding door on your balcony.
And you just let it stay there. You just got a brick out here just in case, right? I don't know what you need that brick for, but whatever it was, you didn't use it
Put
properly.
it to use.
You see the hand he got out? That's
Yeah,
the
he's clearly
Swedish.
reaching.
Yeah, that's the
Come on,
Swedish
man.
hand of please stop.
Come on.
Pleasure stopping. Pleasure stopping, Muhammad. It's not working, bro.
Dishes with his hands.
And Muhammad
He's
just
doing
gave
fucking
you.
magic tricks.
Yeah, Muhammad just gave you the Saudi slap right across the brain.
Muhammad would have got pushed the fuck down.
Look at Muhammad just gave you that bang, get out of here. That's that Dubai slap. And he was like, look, you just ran and closed the door. She's got bad choice of men. Because your ex-boyfriend is a psycho and the guy in your friend zone is spineless. Why would you be in her house trying to help? You knew you wasn't going to do nothing to Muhammad. You've been waiting to get her yourself.
Fun in being there.
I bet you he knew her before Muhammad did. She chose Muhammad.
And he was crying when she was hanging out with Muhammad.
Yeah.
Like she'll see the value in me eventually.
Yeah.
She'll see.
And that's why Muhammad didn't give him the
loser.
business. Because he knew. He was like, you ain't even supposed to be here, bro. So I'm not going to work you over. I'm just going to get in here and handle. I want to know what happened to the rest of the situation, but it's probably going to end up on Twitter somewhere where somebody's going to post it and write, notice a pattern. So this is it.
That's probably all we'll get.
Yeah, this is it. This is what's happening in
right.
the world. This is what's happening in the world. I'm not even going to talk about Tim Pool and his bullshit. But I ain't even gonna talk about Tim Pool and his bullshit. Him and the guys.
What did he do? What did he do? I usually like Tim Pool.
Well, him and a bunch of his guy friends.
Guy.
Him and a bunch of his guy friends are very upset right now because some women are choosing to live their lives without husbands and children, and a lot of them are upset. It was Tim Pool, Matt Walsh, Josh LaCash, like Krasenstein or whatever his name is. A lot of these guys posted this video, and it was just a little bit confusing to me. I didn't understand why they were so triggered. But so Matt Walsh says here, her life doesn't revolve around her family and kids, so instead it revolves around TV shows and pop stars. Worst of all, she's too stupid to realize how depressing this is. First of all, it doesn't seem like it's depressing to her. It seems like it's depressing to other people who have organized their lives differently. She seems to be having a great time. And Tim said it's a cope. Her life is meaningless. It's,
It's 10:45 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm 29 and single, and I don't have kids yet. Here's what your Saturday morning looks like when you're single at 29 and you don't have a kid running around the house. I didn't rise from my bed until 10:15. Every time I thought, I should probably get up and do something. I thought, why? Nobody's making me. I'm not missing out on anything. I went to Beyonce last night, and I didn't get home until 1 a.m. And I danced and drank my little heart out, and I didn't pay a babysitter to watch my kids as I did that. And I woke up a tad hungover this morning, which is probably why I was in bed for so long. And I was just scrolling on my phone, and I saw a picture of shakshuka, and I thought, what sounds really good? Maybe I'm gonna learn how to make shakshuka today, because I have no plans, and I don't have kids, and I don't have a husband, and I don't have errands to run. I can go to the grocery store and learn how to make shakshuka. So that's on my agenda today. Also on my agenda, probably a rewatch of some Real Housewives of New York. I'm also doing a rewatch of Normal People on Hulu, which is really spicy and I highly recommend. Weirdly, I'm into this documentary on Netflix about blue zone countries, so I've got a pretty stacked day. Anyway, I say all this to say, whenever I'm hard on myself about why I'm not married and I don't have kids and I should be further along at 29, almost 30, I wouldn't want to do anything else this Saturday. And I know that you can do all these things when you have kids and you're married, and I understand, but the effortlessness and ease of my life, just kind of focusing on myself and the shakshuka I want to make or the Beyonce concert I want to go to, really pays off when I'm hard on myself for not being where society tells me I should be in life.
I think that's all. Everything she said was valid. Everything she said was valid.
I fucking hate everybody, dude. I really, truly fucking hate everybody.
I think it was
That's
valid.
it. I got nothing else after that.
I
Yeah,
think what she said,
Wow.
because of the situation that we live in, because of the world that exists out here today, her wanting to kick back and have ease and be able to chill in her life, there's nothing wrong with that. But these dudes are so triggered by it. Oh, it's cope. Her life is meaningless. Tim Pool isn't married. Tim Pool doesn't have any children.
Has no kids.
He's sitting
I
on
don't
his
understand.
compound talking shit about leftists and libs all day long. But in his mind, he's saving the world. That's not meaningless
Banging
to him.
his cults.
Yeah, banging all the women who work in his cult until they quit, and then he hires new women to bang. Oh yeah, that's super meaningful, Tim. This guy don't even take his hat off because he's scared of what the world is going to say about his bald head. That's a fact.
Still,
this is the world he's trying to protect.
Does a great job getting to the bottom of the facts. In the internet world,
He's never taken off his hat.
No,
I don't think so. I give him his kudos. I do feel like he tries to get the information as correct as possible, which puts him head and shoulders above every other news agency. That the man has a little bit of integrity. But yeah, I can't defend this. I don't understand with like the Daily Wire types and like the traditional types, the trad con or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you care about another person who has nothing to do with you. Like I could understand like if your sister or your cousin, somebody's like, hey, this is a person you have rapport with, you care about, you're intimately involved in their life. Hey, I love you. I'm just concerned. I don't know if you're making good decisions. This may not lead to happiness. Like, why don't you think you should kind of get your priorities different? But this is someone who's a stranger.
Right.
Like the reality is like you really don't care about this person's happiness at all. Like, but there's a pretending like, oh, you have this is a cope. Your life is meaningless, and so like, are you trying to help her?
No.
Like I don't. And not only that, do you have any empathy for her? Like, the dating market right now is if you don't give your number, you could get hit in the face with a brick. She's trying to find a husband in that context. Do you know how hard it is to find other decent human beings that are worth pairing your life together? It's a fucking incredibly hard situation. Like, I feel bad for her because I'm sure she probably wants a husband and wants a family, but I'm not gonna tell her, yo, marry this dude who's gonna let a fucking Arab climb a ladder and kill you and not do shit. Like, who is she supposed to choose from? Like, it's tough out here to find anybody decent. So I mean, I guess if you really feel that way, that her life is meaningless, like I feel like you'd have more empathy for her. But yeah, this is I just don't get it. If people don't publicly make a like I feel like, especially for Matt Walsh, because my understanding is he's like a Christian, right?
Right.
You should be going to all of the people that say that they're Christians that are shacking up and not getting married. These are people that have subscribed to your agenda that aren't doing what the fuck they're supposed to be doing. You got a lot of in-house cleaning to do.
Right.
Like, this lady's a complete stranger to you. She's never made a commitment to do shit in line with your values. Like, hey, stranger, you're not living up to my ideals. All right. Okay. Like that. I don't get that take. I don't get it.
He said, if you don't have a family, at least do something interesting with your time. These people have absurd amounts of free time and they do absolutely nothing with it. Wasting their lives staring at little glowing boxes. Absolutely soul crushing. She's just gonna.
You're on Twitter.
You're on Twitter. He's a content creator complaining about people
Twitter
who waste their lives staring at little glowing boxes. Weren't we staring at a little glowing box when you made your What is a Woman documentary? Were we not supposed to stare at the little glowing box then? Because that was your contribution to society, right? Yeah, these people think they're saving the world. They've run out of villains. Now the people that you target are people who were staying home and minding their business. And so the crazy part, imagine that, right? This guy says, this is the danger right here. She's getting a lot of online hate, but honestly, it's just sad. Society needs to course correct these women before it's too late. And somebody says, course correct them into what? Social pressures to settle down before they reach whatever desperate condition this is.
They say North Korea's bad.
Right. And so I just cleaned it all up and said, this guy, he wants the Handmaid's Tale. That's what he wants. He wants the Handmaid's Tale.
Yo, we're fucked if these people are in charge of anything.
Right. I guarantee you, these are men who either don't have wives or they have Stepford wives, and they're mad because the rest of the women haven't been brought to heel yet.
They're not locked up in a cage and they're just running around free.
Right. There's actually free women out here in the world that's not being used as sex furniture by men. I don't like it. Society needs to course correct them.
She's supposed to be caged up.
Very few of these men have anything to say about political corruption. Really like solutions about political, and that includes Tim Pool. Yeah, he gets to the bottom of it, but then what? Like, what's the actionable advice he gives people? Vote this way instead of that way.
He doesn't. You know what? He doesn't. And this is the one thing that kind of, like, I try to separate the individual person from their work. Right? The quality of his work, I find that there's a lot of value in what he does. But he doesn't share the formula with people. He doesn't promote them or help them to do it. But he's probably the biggest advertisement for the shit that we talk about. Like, he's the living proof of it. Like, his conclusion was, I need to get the fuck out of here and just build a community with the people I know and love. Yep, that's exactly what you need to do, Tim.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we all need to do. I'm with you 100%. But he'll tell people, yeah, you need to get out of cities, you need to get out of... But it's like, dude, you've got millions of dollars from people watching you. How does everybody else do it? And with all of that money that you're raising, like, you really could start doing something to make that a reality for other people if you really wanted to.
But he doesn't.
But you're just like everybody else. Like, I'm good. I still want to make it seem like I'm trying to save everybody else, but really I'm telling the truth with my lifestyle. My lifestyle is, I don't really give a fuck what happens to y'all. I just need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he's posting, mid-journey pictures of Trump, and like, there's no, I've never heard, like I said, I don't know for sure because I don't closely follow his streams and shit like that. But what are his actionable solutions? Like, what practical information is he giving people other than they're coming for you and you better get away and don't vote for Biden and the leftists are crazy and what's up with drag queen story time and like that's just the basics of what he's doing. He's pandering to the pre-installed fear of his audience, but what is he giving them really to act upon? What real... Is he an icon of how to do it? How is he conducting his life now that he has his intentional community, other than banging his revolving door of employees allegedly? What is he really doing?
No, I don't think it's an alleged. I think there's corroboration.
Yeah, this is what Democrats fear. This is his feed. Talking about a person whose life is meaningless because they learned how to cook a new dish and watch some reruns of a reality show. Is this Twitter stream not a reality show for people? Is this not escapism? What is he talking about? He's complaining about this lady is crazy. Look at her. Look at this lady. She's nuts, bro.
You know what? Can we take anybody seriously anymore?
No.
Like,
no,
I think
not.
I think at this point, I know there's that thing called audience capture where people just kind of, they become a caricature of what they were trying to be or something. And then it's a certain point, they're just performing for their audience. So I don't know. I don't know who is sincere anymore. Like, everybody is working an angle because at the end of the day, you got to build bills, right? You got to pay bills. You got to get attention somehow. And usually it's not with just, telling the truth of what's best for people. It's, like, I'm sure that tweet got a lot of engagement because it was ridiculous, especially coming from him. Like, she's coping with her sad reality. Like, I don't know, dude. Aren't you like 36 or 37? You're older than her. Like, I don't know.
But I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm fine. Yeah, I haven't hit the wall.
Yeah.
Men reach their prime way later in life, but a 40-year-old woman is pretty much worthless to the world if she's not. He's a
All
guy.
right, yeah.
He's a guy.
You
He's
try to
got
play
time.
basketball with your kid in your 60s. Do it. Have your kid at 50. Go out there and play basketball when he's 12, 11 years old. How much are you really going to be actively involved? You're just going to be giving lessons. You're going to be boring daddy. 25-year-old fun daddy down the road is running around with the kids, and you're on oxygen.
Right.
And you have emphysema.
With a beanie on. Fuck
right?
out of here, bro.
They'll never know.
Yeah, they'll never know. I have a lush head of fucking hard rock hair under this hat. It's just bad. Like when you're hiding from the actual iteration of yourself, but complaining about people who are being authentic and sharing their real experience, it just doesn't make sense. The cope really is you hoping that her life sucks. That's what the cope is. I hope she's having a horrible time because, she could be living here on my compound having me use her in ways that are unspeakable. But instead, she's by herself chilling. I don't like that shit. It's just sad.
Oh, dude. Maybe that's the follow-up tweet. If that bitch is his new producer in 6 months, I don't know. You just I don't know. You deserve a shit ton of money for predicting. Yeah. You deserve to win Powerball.
Absolutely.
If she is his producer, like, hey, you didn't have any meaning before. And look, I'm not saying you have to have kids, but help me fight against the mainstream media. Come here to my compound and run the boards for me, please. You can do it. Yeah. Come be a part of this. Have some meaning.
Yeah, I put the boards are in my bedroom. They're in the upper room. That's where you gotta be. Yeah. I've taken on the burden of sex for my whole intentional community. Yeah, it's garbage. It is what it is. But I get, these guys, they got to cope too, I guess. Even Matt Walsh with his wife and child and his traditional life. He's like, what are these crazy ladies doing on TikTok? I need to complain. Why aren't you spending time with your wife? Why aren't you bonding with your child? Why are you on TikTok complaining about people who don't live the lifestyle you live? That sounds like a little bit of cope to me too, to be honest. It's like you don't want to believe that other people can enjoy their experience because it's not organized the way that you organize yours. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. I don't want to make an assumption, but, that's kind of what it is, man. That's what it looks like to me anyway. But, yeah, man, that's just some of the crazy things going on in this wild simulation these days. It's every now and then we see some shit that we need to deep dive into, and this was one of them, and that's my conclusion for today is that weak men are dangerous. If you want protection, you need to be under somebody's discipline, somebody's guidance. You don't get to just lollygag and gallivant out in the world any way you want and also expect strangers to come to your aid. That's just not the way things work. Build an intentional community, have a guy with a billy club go out with you, and maybe you'll be a little bit safer. Until then, twerk at home. Learn how to buy liquor. Just in case you didn't know, alcohol is cheaper if you buy it directly from the liquor store. You can also access all of the same music in a playlist on Spotify, and then you can just twerk at home. Because I know the hack is you do it for yourself anyway, right? You get dressed for yourself, you put makeup on for yourself, you put.
Yeah, I never understood that.
Yeah, it's just for you. It's just for you.
Women would say, it's like, I do it but
right. So do it at home. Just do it at home. Do it at home. Live stream it. See how many people watch. And then you don't have to pay 4 times as much for alcohol and run the risk of getting bricked in the grill. So, yeah, I think it's a little safer. It's just as much fun, most likely because you're only doing it for yourself. So it's safer and it's more fun. So go for it. We're looking forward to the lack of women in the club, and then men will just be standing around waiting to buy drinks for each other, I guess. It'll ruin the whole industry. And then you can impact the world.
The criminals will be out, and they really want to buy each other drinks.
That's really what's going on anyway. The women are just in the way. They're just distractions.
There's no way that you like women if you hit a woman in the face with a brick. He was hoping one of those dudes there would tussle with him.
That was like that guy who started the fight with it because the camera was on him, and he had his arm around the gay dude, and then when he saw the camera, he just started fighting because he didn't know what else to do. Like these guys, he was out there with all the fellas, and then a woman walked through, and he was like, "Wait, I'm gonna try to get her phone number." And she said no, so I guess I got to beat her up now. I guess, buddy. Whatever. This is the world. This is the world. But yeah, man. So I'm gonna wrap it up, and I think we've mined the absurdity enough. It's crazy out here. That's just the only conclusion I can come to. It's crazy out here. This is not a community. It's just a bunch of people living in close proximity to each other. So don't ever get that confused moving forward. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Everybody in the comments. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we have been the Cult of Dangerous Gentlemen, the greatest think tank ever invented. Leave us some comments. Follow us on Instagram, on Twitter. We got all our Twitter addresses down here in the description there. So make sure, stop by the website if you get times. SWTKO sweetcode.art. You enter the code gratitude and you get free shipping on any orders over $50. So stop by there, grab a couple t-shirts. We got some original art, some jewelry, regalia, all that good shit. We got art prints and everything. So if you get time, definitely go visit the shop, check some things out, leave us some feedback in the comments. And we'll be right back at y'all soon enough once we find a few more things that need to be parsed out and pieced up in absurdity mind for practical mysticism. This is it. This is it. This is the way. So you brothers enjoy the rest of the evening, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon.
Peace.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen.
All right, y'all take it easy, man. Bless.
The quote-unquote religion of tomorrow. If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally and absolutely.